So the creative system for us is a process of 6 steps. First thing first, you always start with analysis. You have to understand what do you want, why, what, who, when, and etc. So you understand what you want to do. Then you go to the second point, which is a product. Then you choose obviously your products. You may go to the market. You may find something in your fridge. The flavor, where you actually decide which flavor is the main one, which flavor is the primary one, secondary, and etc. Then you choose the techniques. So how are you gonna cook that orange? How are you gonna cook that piece of fish? So is it gonna be steamed? Is it gonna be cooked or grilled or fried? Then you think about the texture. Texture, you can have different textures like crispy, crunchy, soft, other ones, and as well the presentation, which is obviously very important, because when we're in a restaurant or we're in a pastry shop, the first thing we do, we buy with our eyes, and then we only go and try it. And now Anushka is gonna just go through the different, because it's called pastry arts and in general culinary arts. So we're gonna go through how chefs use art as inspiration and other kind of fields. So
4 of these images are from really famous chefs. If you see the left bottom, it's by the chef in the restaurant Alinea, and he just platters things on his table, and it's an artistic mess. And his whole concept is about creating a mess through art. If you see on the right top corner, it's a painting by a French painter. I think it's Da Vinci. It's Italian, but he's used actual art and taken inspiration from museums and created an eclair.
Yeah, and like this whole design is printed using the footprint natural colorings on top of the white chocolate. So again, probably the chef worked with some really intelligent and intense food scientists and food designers and technologists in order to execute this kind of idea. And the cake on the left, we can see the purple one. So this is a chef from Ukraine. Her name is Dinara Kasko, and she was a career changer, and she now is a huge pastry chef all over the world. So she was an architect for like 15 years, and then she started to switch careers. And then actually, this is the good example of how your other fields of expertise can help you in that. So she made a whole architectural design using again white chocolate and different chocolates with different colors on top in order to decorate the cake. So this is very actually where she used the 3D print as well to cut the exactly the pieces of that chocolate and to put them together. So again, this is a good example. And here on the right bottom corner is a basically a piece by Jeff Cross, which is a very famous balloon dog. So, but this entire thing is made of chocolate as well, where people take inspiration from the art and they really transmute it into pastry.
So if you see, all 4 are so different from each other. There's like a creative mess, there's a very structured architectural design, then there's a eclair which is inspired by actual Renaissance art. So whatever you can see, you can do, you just have to find your flow of creation. If we go on to the next slide.
So this is basically the question that people might ask right now: where do the ideas come from, and what do I do if the idea doesn't come? So in order to execute any idea, you have to be organized. There should be an order. You should understand at which point you want the idea to come and what you want to do with it and what's the action plan for that. And then obviously you have to have either an objective that I want to create that dessert with that thing, I want to create this thing, or attitude as well is basically the way you go on that journey. And then obviously you should apply pressure. You should be very organized. You should not be really light on it. But I think because of the pressure, I mean the pressure of that industry, because the profession of being a chef is very, can be stressful. It's very intense. Converting that pressure into the actual creativity, which can be a good sign. So, and where the ideas come from, they come from everywhere,
you can get inspired by anything. The world offers us so many things. So there's no lack of creativity. You just have to put your mind to it. If I go to the next slide, there's an example. So this is a really famous chef. His name is Alan Prasad, and he wanted to make the perfect roast chicken. Now, chicken can be dry sometimes, and another bird which doesn't get too dry in the oven is the duck. So what he did is he stitched the chicken and the duck, and he made a dish called the korpa korp. and it's the roasted chicken duck, which is so juicy and so tender, but has a flavor of the chicken.
So yeah, this is something very, like very. I mean, it's very controversial in honest, because they're really stitching two different animals. But I mean, this was the, I mean, success dish for that chef, and he gained 3 Michelin stars after that. So.
Yeah. And then the second dish, it's called Oops, I Dropped the Lemon Tart. It's actually by Chef Massimo Bottura, who owns a 3 Michelin star restaurant, Modena, in Italy. So they were serving the lemon tart, which is very traditional to his restaurant, and they dropped it during their Michelin star serving. So he made the tart, and the waiter dropped it, and they didn't know what to do. And it became an iconic dish because he saw it. It looked so beautiful,
and he changed it,
and he changed it. And now his entire cuisine focuses on mistakes that he made and how he recreated them into the dishes that he serves.
So another big, another big part of the industry nowadays is basically the, since we're more people on the earth, and we have more people to feed, and we have more demand, and people become more technologically advanced. We have really a need into automatization, and the basically the industrialization as well. So the things should work faster, the farms should work faster, they should be more efficient. So nowadays a lot of the, like, for example, farmers are really are worried about the progression of the robotics in the food industry, but we don't know yet if it's a good thing or it's a bad thing. But obviously there are both sides to it. So for example, you can see there is a robot in agriculture where they try to, where they seed the plants, where they water the plants at some specific moments, and obviously they never get tired, they're efficient, they're working on the very exact timetable, so which makes actually human labor less efficient. You have the food robots as well in packaging and manufacturing, where you can see the robot just discarding the good croissants or bad croissants, or he's putting the croissants in the packaging by himself. So that's, again, is more faster, is more efficient. And for us, the biggest concern is the basically robots in the kitchen, because I mean, if the robots will come really efficiently in the kitchen, our profession will be gone. So actually, starting, it's yet undeveloped that much as compared to chefs, as human chefs. But yet it's picking up, because some robots now, you can develop robots to cook some things, you can develop robots to weigh out things. But obviously, I think in my opinion, you have to work with technology side by side, but not let go that personal touch and that personal emotional things you can create.
Which a robot can't create.
Yeah, obviously, like, I would choose robots to optimize things, to make them faster, to make them more efficient, like cutting or something like that. But never things like to, like the taste and the aromas and everything that only we can pursue. So also there is a video of like latest robotic technology that's been made for bar users. So we're just gonna see it, and just gonna discuss it after that. Is the video playing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is basically the optimized bar. So you don't need bartenders, you don't need people to open the liquor bottles, you don't need people to do anything. You just basically come, you choose a drink, and I mean, it's quite cool. But at the same time, I mean, I'm pretty sure bartenders of the world are a bit worried about that invention.
It's interesting because for restaurant owners, it's very efficient. You don't have to too many labor. You don't have labor cost. You're not worried that someone's going to steal your produce, because it happens in many restaurants across the world where things are stolen from your inventory. But like Nariman said, there's no human touch. So
Yeah, it's
that for
something.
us is really important because you want to create that connection. A little bit about a pathway through what you can do if you're looking to specialize in the hospitality industry. I suggest, if you guys are confused whether you want to do hotel, you want to go down the hospitality road or the culinary road, do an internship before choosing which school you want to go to. If you work in a restaurant for 6 months, you realize whether you want to work in a restaurant for the rest of your life. Because if you have an image of the hospitality world, I know it's really glamorous, but working at the back of the counter is not so much. It's long hours, a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. When I was younger, like I mentioned, I always wanted to be a chef, and my parents just would not accept it. So I did an internship to understand whether this was actually what I wanted. So you can go down a way where you start an internship. You can do it in all different departments. You can do it in accommodation, events, and culinary. Then you can choose your hotel or culinary school, and then you can specialize in what you want to specialize in. Because even within the field of culinary, there's so many specializations like bakery or pastry or cuisine or French cuisine. Um, for example, I did an internship in bakery, and I decided, like, I always wanted to be a baker when I was younger, and after I did my internship in bakery, I realized I could not be a baker because I'm not physically strong enough to carry really heavy bags of flour. So the internship allowed me to align where I wanted to go and which direction I wanted to head. The second thing you could do is go to hotel school or culinary school if you guys know that this is what you want to do, and then do your internship in all the departments to decide which area you want to focus on. Like I said, what I did with the bakery.
Yeah, and then basically the second pass is what, for example, I took, which I was quite. I did a couple of as well before that. If you're really, like you're not sure if you wanna do this kind of profession or you wanna be in that industry, there are a lot of nowadays the master classes that's happening. There are a lot of like teaching by the chefs which are happening. For example, here we been doing class in food hall, for example, in food hall when people come and we try to. It's a 3 hour, 4 hour session where we teach people, and a lot of people are actually coming to try whether they like cooking or not. So a lot of these things can help you a lot. And basically, yeah, I mean, just wanted to talk about the idea of how Woods Plus came and how it came to life. So basically, it happened during the pandemic, the peak, the start of the pandemic last year. So we were both working at restaurants and having our busy kitchen life. And then at one point, everything shut down. Obviously, all the restaurants closed, and we've been left at home without doing anything, and actually without even cooking for people. So yeah, and just a little quote that we like to say in like speeches and talks that is by Albert Einstein. Even so, Aditi has one in the beginning, so that's super cool that we matched on that. So learning is experience, and everything else is just information. So I think it's very especially for industry of food and like that chefs industry,
We're constantly learning,
yeah,
about different
and
cuisines, different things. It's so important to
it's a like, whole experience
yeah,
because
it's so important to take all the information you have and to learn from it. And I know, like with being a chef, sometimes it's a really egoistic job. Like, oh, I know everything, my dish is the best. But try and absorb all the information you can, to learn whatever you can to increase your knowledge and increase what you can do.
and we learn from each other as well.
Yeah,
we learn
you're
like
constantly learning.
yeah, you
no
learn
matter how old
from
you are.
and which position in the restaurant you are. You can be we learn from we work as a team, and the dishwashers in the restaurants, and we even learn from them.
Yeah.
So there is like from each person who is participating in this whole chain, starting from barmans to ending from dishwashers, people who help to clean the kitchen, it's yet everyone we can learn from. So that's very important message we want to pass.